Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel and welcome back to the 25 days of Craftmas. Today is day 16 and day 16 is the last DIY in the second row. After today, we only got one row of DIYs left. Sad, this is coming to an end. Actually, it's not. We still have a lot of DIYs to do. So with all of that being said, let's open bag 16 and find out what the heck I'm making today. Okay, bag 16, day 16. Let's find out what the heck I'm making. In 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, this will be a fun one. Today I am making fabric bookmarks. I put this on the list, of course, for a few reasons. One, very easy, beginner-friendly sewing project. Actually, I think you could even do like a hand-sewn version of this bookmark as well. And then I also thought people that like to read, I think this would be like a great little stocking stuffer for them. Or you could make like a few of them and give them as a set. You could get a book and give the bookmark as well with it. Or you could just use it yourself if you're a person that does that thing called reading. So with all of that being said, I'm going to grab some fabric and let's get started making these bookmarks. Okay guys, let's make one of these bookmarks. I grabbed a bunch of fabric and I'm just gonna play around with some different variations because these bookmarks are super duper easy to make. And I actually just went ahead and made my first one so that I could figure out how to explain to you guys how to actually make one of these bookmarks. So I'm gonna make the same exact one because I like the way this one turned out. So what you gotta do first up is take your fabric and you're gonna cut 2 squares that are 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And going with a plaid fabric makes it even easier because you've got nice lines already built into the pattern of the fabric. Okay, I now have my 2 squares. I'm going to lay them on top of each other and I am going to sew around the 4 sides, but I'm gonna leave a little hole in one of the sides so that I can flip this inside out and then the raw edge of the fabric will be on the inside. Got the 4 sides all sewn up. Now I am going to just cut off the corners and cut a little straight notch. This will make it so that when you flip it inside out, the corners aren't bulky and you can get a nice crisp corner. Okay, now using that hole that I left open, I'm going to flip this fabric inside out. Honestly, flipping this inside out is probably the hardest part of this whole project. Now I'm just taking my scissors and using them to make the corners of this fabric pop out. Okay, I've got my little square flipped inside out. I'm going to iron this flat, and then this corner right here is still open, so I'm gonna flip that fabric in, iron it flat, and then sew this little hole closed. Okay, so now I'm grabbing my pleather. You can use normal fabric. This doesn't have to be pleather. And I am laying that square out on this fabric. I'm basically just marking this out so that I can cut out a little triangle piece. And now I'm gonna actually use some embroidery thread and sew these 2 pieces together because I think this adds a nice little detail along the edge versus just if I used my sewing machine. And since I went ahead and already made one of these, I learned from the first one that I made that you want this stitch to be as close to the edge as possible. I think that looks nicer and it also makes it so that this bookmark works a little bit better. Last stitch. Just need to knot that off. Yay! Oh, this turned out much better than my first one. At least I think so. Okay guys, this is my first, or I guess second little bookmark all done. This one turned out so much better than the first one. And a few of the pictures I saw of this bookmark online, people decorate this little triangle piece. I am going to leave this one plain, and I'm gonna make a few different variations of this bookmark, and then I'll be back because I do want to embroider a few of them, and I'm gonna show you guys how I am going to embroider them and what to do.
So I decided to make all of my bookmarks a set, and to make them have a similar look, I decided to use that plaid fabric as my base fabric, and I just switched out the color and fabric of all of the little triangle pieces. And for all of the bookmarks that I made just out of cotton fabric, I did have to make them a little bit different than the pleather ones, since cotton fabric can fray, unlike pleather. So what I did is I cut a square and I folded that square in half to make a little triangle piece, and I pressed it flat. I then laid that triangle piece in between two of the plaid square pieces and pinned it all together. And then from there, it's the same steps of sewing up the four sides and leaving that little hole so that you can flip it right side out. I clipped all of the corners before flipping it inside out, and then when I did flip it inside out, that triangle piece was already attached and the raw edges were on the inside of the bookmark, and I could press everything flat and close it up.
Okay guys, I have all 5 of my little bookmarks made, and the bookmarks with the cotton fabric as the little triangle piece were actually like even easier to make than the ones with the pleather. They were super duper easy to make. So for the pleather ones, I'm keeping them plain, I'm not decorating them, and for these 3, I am going to be embroidering them. Very, very simple embroidery. And since I'm giving all 5 of the bookmarks to my husband, I thought I would just kind of like keep it on brand with him. So for the white one, I'm gonna do a J, and then for these 2, I am going to be doing bees because my husband is a beekeeper. So using a fabric marker, I'm just gonna quickly draw out a J, and then on these 2, I'm gonna quickly draw like a loose outline of a bee. I have them all drawn out. I went with like 2 different bees so that it looked a little different. The main stitch for all 3 of these designs is gonna be a satin stitch. It's just where you like take the thread and you just wrap it around and around and around the fabric. So I will start with the J. Poke this up through the fabric and just start wrapping it around. I like it. It's not like the prettiest J, but I think it looks really nice, and I really like this. I think this would make such a cute stocking stuffer. But now I'm just gonna really quickly go ahead and do that satin stitch for the body of the bees, and then I'll come back because the wings are a different stitch, and I'll be going back and forth between black thread and yellow thread. Okay, so the body of the bees are both done, and all that's left is the wings. And for the wings, I am going to be doing a lazy daisy stitch. Usually you use this to, of course, make like a little daisy, but this also works really great for wings. So I'm gonna take this white thread and poke it up through the fabric, and then I'm basically going to poke down right next to where I just came from, and this is gonna make a little loop. See, it already kind of looks like a wing. And then I'm gonna take the thread and come back up at the top of the wing. I'm going to loop that through, and then that holds that little looped wing in place, and then I'm gonna go back down through the fabric and pull through. And now I'll repeat the process. Okay, I just finished the second wing. And I'm gonna tie this off. My little bee is all done. I'm gonna repeat that stitch on this bee, and that will complete my 5 little fabric bookmarks, and will also complete day 16 of the 25 days of Craftmas.
And that is it, guys. I think out of all of the sewing DIYs I picked for Craftmas, this is the only DIY I would consider a true scrap fabric DIY. You needed such a small amount of fabric to make them, they were super quick and easy, and look at how cute these bookmarks are. Also, I think anybody that reads would love one of these adorable bookmarks. I personally don't read, but they're making me want to find a book so that I can use one of them. So, I hope you guys liked this video and project. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye guys!